Hello, everyone. My name is Bryce Payton, and this is my EDL 959 case study, Digital Literacy Curriculum and Challenges to School-Wide Adoption. Okay, so I'll be playing the role of Kim. Kim, myself, is an assistant principal at Trickett Middle School, which is a 7th and 8th grade building located in the Rockford School District, where there are approximately 650 students and around 80 teachers and staff members. Students are made up of 80% African American, 17% white, and 3% other. And 65% of the student population receive free and reduced school lunches and breakfasts. This is something that can be a challenge in any district, and as we move through the case study, I think this had a big effect on the assessments and the data that Kim and myself saw. Kim's focus is on technology and has been attempting to develop a technology-rich curriculum. That was a passion. It's what she knows, and that's what she wants to get and feels that her school district would be best suited for. If we're looking at the data that shows the students are struggling and aren't trying on some of the short answers and essay prompts on assessments. It showed that they weren't even trying and or getting low grades on those types of assessments. Kim has made changes to the school days, going from 7 period days to 4 84-minute blocks, in hopes that this would give more time for technology-rich curriculum and assessments for the teachers. At Triscuit, the planned development curriculum isn't working. It's not working for all students, and that's clear in Kim's finding and my findings, and that I believe that the solution is to how the curriculum is taught to each student, and I don't think that the staff is buying into what I'm believing can make a difference with the use of technology for academic and non-academic activities. So I myself, Kim, is faced with the problem of how to effectively communicate to her staff about technology-rich curriculum and which form would work best for our school. So legal and ethical issues. No one was harmed by any of these actions. The actions didn't break any laws, didn't contravene any laws. There's no breach of contracts, breaks of contracts. None of the actions were considered harassment or discriminatory. There could be put in here that there could be some ethical issues when it only pertains to the staff just flat out refusing to follow their superior and what they want from them, if it came to that. But for me, I don't see any legal or ethical issues more than that. So defining the problem. Kim, the assistant principal at the middle school, has reviewed the data and began making changes to promote the success and well-being of the students, but is looking to change her approach to implement a new technology-rich curriculum with her staff and get them to buy into it. So collecting some data. So the main people in the case study would be Kim, myself, and the rest of the staff and students. place would be the Triscuit Middle School. It's in Rockford City School District, and it's an urban district, urban community. Um, in regards to the program, it is a public school, 6th through 8th. Um, like I mentioned earlier, 650 students, around 80 staff. Um, has a high percent free and reduced. Has lower performing data on assessments. Um, it is integrating digital literacy through the use of technology. So on the right side here are things that wasn't in the case study or that didn't stand out to me that I would like to know. One, the other principal. I'm an assistant principal. Where's the other principal in this setting? Placed, what types of academic and non-academic activities have been done to increase, parental involvement, to get these students to have pride in what they do, and get their parents in there, and so they can have pride in their students, so on and so forth. What activities and non-academic activities have they done? Program. What types of professional development was done? Was it, hey, here's some links, pick and choose if you want to, because I've gotten those emails before, or was it sit down with a specific activity, and it's either hit or miss? Has she asked for advice from any other principal? Has she talked to that other principal? Have I talked to that other principal yet? Or is this my doing? I don't know. Are the assessments that have been given culturally responsive? These are all things that would be beneficial to know in the case study. So just prioritizing the problem and kind of bulleting out what's the main get up of the case study and what's the problem. So myself, Kim is using the data to evaluate and make informed decisions. So I've looked at the data. I've realized that we are struggling in certain parts of assessments, and there is a problem. It's not getting better. We are historically bad on assessments, and something has to change. Even though there has been professional development opportunities for staff, lectures are still the main presentation mode. This cannot continue. Our students do not learn, especially in an environment, for 84 minutes to sit there and lecture to them. Especially for middle school, that is not going to work. We have to change our ways and get these kids involved. Triscuit Middle School's annual scores are below expectations levels. I mentioned that earlier. Yeah. Kim is looking to integrate more digital literacy into daily instruction through the use of technology in academic and non-academic activities. And as a school administrator, Kim needs to find. I need to find an approach that will facilitate and encourage the staff to change for growth and success of our students, and that's what we're supposed to do. That's our job, and that's what we're here to do, and that's what we need to strive to do. And I think finding an approach that will facilitate that to our staff would be huge. Okay, plan to handle the situation. Okay, so option number 1, directive control. Option 2, directive informational and collaborative. And option 3, non-directive. So option 1, Kim would state the expectations to the staff, and they would follow the plan of action without much choice whatsoever from them. I would tell them what to do, and they would follow suit. Option number 2, directive informational and collaborative. So I would provide the staff with some choices um, to make, and we would collaborate on that to determine the best fit for each one of us. Number 3, non-directive. The staff would continue to teach their strengths as they see fit, and I wouldn't do much of anything to tell them otherwise. Hope for the best. So evaluating the plan. Some pros and cons of each. Option number 1, some pros would be staff knows what is expected and how to go about it. Cons would be confrontations could come from the staff not having much autonomy in the classroom. Teachers don't necessarily like to be told what to do, especially ones that have been doing it for a long time. Option number 2, pros from the directive, informational, and collaborative. Kim collaborates with her staff to come up with solutions to help each member. What I can do to help them, and what they do best, what some of their strengths that they can do. They would have input on any changes. They would give them a voice in that, and also just build relationships with them. Meet them in the middle, and hopefully gain some mutual respect from that, and gain some confidence in moving forward. A con could definitely just be that the staff could just still reject any change at all, and not be willing to listen to me, and think that we're doing just fine. Non-directive. No added work for Kim, myself, but that doesn't help promote student success, or really attempt to look at any issues that have been brought up. So obviously, option number 2 would be the best approach. It allows Kim, myself, to work with the staff members to help them understand what the goal is, and she can instill confidence in them as they find new ways to add cultural literacy through technology. This collaboration approach is guided by Kim. Would be better than not changing anything or forcing the staff to teach a certain way. So reflecting and implementing. So first, Kim, myself, I would meet with the other principal and make sure that our visions lined up to one another, and we're on the same page. Next, I would meet with the staff and discuss the data. Bring it up there. Show them why we need reasons to change. Show them the reasons that we need to change and move forward. Then I would create a committee or a team, a smaller team that would help with some of the professional development that they could gain, some input from the other staff members onto what they were wanting, what they're thinking, and just break it down just a little bit more to help us get to our goal. Next, the team would meet to develop a plan. We have to have a plan moving forward, when we're going to do things, how we're going to do them, and what are the expectations of those. I would make sure that our staff got the professional development that they wanted and needed. Like I said, after our team would meet, understand what we need and when we need it, and then what I feel is if that's necessary or not, moving forward. And finally, just continue to monitor the data and encourage the staff as best I can to push forward and give this a fighting chance. And here is my reflection, relevant, and my correlation. Thank you very much.